Hi, it's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching, and welcome to another episode of Coaching Conversations. And I wanted to make you aware of something very cool that we're doing on a subscription basis, and we'll put a link in each one of our episodes. But every Wednesday, we're going to be doing what we call an audio podcast workshop. That workshop will be roughly about 14 to maybe 20 minutes per episode, with each month having a theme from a coaching model, using feedback strategically, to coaching self-awareness, and so on. So if you could, look in the body or in the content description of each episode, and you will see a link where you can join this subscription. These are literally 4 workshops every month, teaching specific strategies to address a particular area of workplace coaching, as it relates, again, to things like awareness, motivation, teamwork, and what have you. Here's the cool thing. It's only $10 per month, and each month you will get a handout that we will follow along with. So we also give you a tool for you to take notes as we go through each episode. We hope you'll check it out.
Conversational discord is when two people have a disagreement or an inability to converse due to a lack of understanding or misinterpretation of information. Conversational discord is literally an organizational disease. Let me explain what the 4 stages are and then give you an example of what we're talking about. Stage 1 is misinterpretation. Stage 2 is labeling. Stage 3 is unprofessional sharing. And stage 4 is spin and share. Recently, I was on a virtual meeting with one of our clients, and we had a person who was really dominating the conversation from a perception standpoint. The person kept talking and was, to a certain extent, perception-wise, rambling. So after the meeting, somebody called me and said, I think she thinks that everything that comes out of her mouth is the gospel. She just dominated the conversation. And I sat back and I thought about that statement. She thinks everything that comes out of her mouth is sacred as the gospel. She never once said that. That is stage 1. That is a misinterpretation. Stage 2, the person then shared with me, she only likes to hear herself talk and she doesn't care about what other people have to say. The person never said that. That's the labeling stage. Then afterwards, I got another phone call from another person at the organization, and that person had shared with me that they had had a conversation with the person who had just called me, which leads me to stage 3, unprofessional sharing. And this person started to say the same things. This person dominates the conversation. She doesn't care what other people have to say. She's only interested in what she has to say. And then the 4th stage was achieved. The head person called me and started to share with me, I heard from some people on my team, and went on to repeat the same things. And I said, look, let me sit down with her. Let me have a conversation with her. And to make a long story short, when I asked some, I think, fairly good coaching questions, I started to build an understanding of this person. This person struggles with anxiety, nervousness, wants to be heard, but feels like they don't communicate well. They have an insecurity over their communication skills. And throughout her life has always struggled with communicating clearly. And she said, I just don't want to create misunderstanding because I know I've created problems in the past when I'm not very concise and clear. So her intention was to be clear. Her commitment was one of professional understanding. After talking to her, there is no way she's a person that thinks everything that comes out of her mouth is sacred or the gospel. She is not the type of person who thinks that only what she says is of value and she doesn't care what other people think. She is the farthest person from this. And I watched these 4 stages unfold before I talked to her. So I went back to the head person. I said, I want to share with you my findings. And I'll never forget it. The head person said, I've known her For 10 years, I never knew any of this. That's the value of coaching. Now, I asked some simple questions, and the person I was coaching, she made it very easy. She was very vulnerable, very transparent. Yet, she was misinterpreted, labeled, and the perception of her was unprofessionally shared across a team of 20 people. By the end of the week, it had gotten back to her. A couple of people came up to her and said, "Oh, I heard you had a really tough meeting." And she said, "What are you talking about?" And somebody said, "Oh, I heard that you took over a meeting and people were really angry." That's the spin and share. People put their own label on it. After it was unprofessionally shared, people started to spin it out of control. "I heard you took over a meeting and people were angry." People were not angry, even the people who talked to us. That's what happens with conversational discord. Conversational discord is an organizational disease. Again, the 4 steps of conversational discord are misinterpretation, labeling, unprofessional sharing, and stage 4, spin and share. See, often we talk so much about cultures and workplace cultures, and we want to improve our culture. Cultures are made up of a combination and a collection of conversations. Thank you for listening to another episode of Coaching Conversations by Tim Hagan and Progress Coaching. Now, our company is always coming out with new and innovative solutions to help leaders coach their employees. And recently, we just created a new service called Coach to You, where leaders can pick and choose topics and assign 7 to 21-day programs for employees to learn and, more importantly, apply actions and then reflect and share what they're going to do going forward as a result of the learning. It's called Coach to You. We're literally bringing coaching to your employees. If you're intrigued, we'll have a link in each one of our episodes where you can get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to another episode.